Since morale is the key to the success of any organization, you also have to be prepared when things don't go the way you want them, so you can keep the morale up in spite of it. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, we inspire. We are in the midst of a series based upon the book Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun by Wes Roberts, PhD, who is giving us little bits and pieces to help us as leaders. And what I'm doing is reading some passages from the book and then pointing out where they have come into play in reality in my experience, okay? So you can kind of put pieces together. Anyway, we're going to be talking about what he refers to as there is another day. Sometimes you have to retreat and there is another day, and what's the best ways to accomplish that? I, Attila, King of Huns, have called this assembly of chieftains and mighty warriors together for the purpose of encouragement. Further, my aim is to kindle the fires of your emotional stamina so that you may not become hopeless in the face of disappointment. It is therefore incumbent to my office that I prepare you chieftains and future chieftains to deal with disappointment and discouragement. Therefore, let these guiding principles for dealing with defeat be known among you. No chieftain will ever win every encounter. It matters not whether it be in tribal leadership or on the battlefield, nor how great or insignificant is the issue at hand. Sometimes you lose, regardless of how prepared you are to win. Very simply, nobody wins every battle. You can't win every battle. You have to be prepared. That's what we're going to be talking about more right here. Should you become aware that defeat on the battlefield or in negotiations is impending, don't deny it. Face it and take immediate action to minimize the opponent's gain and get back to your cause. Fairly plain, I'm going to leave it at that. Retreat is noble when continuance with the battle or the issue at hand would result in further losses or total annihilation of your resources. In order to return on another day, you must salvage all the warriors and materials possible. Your focus is going to change from winning the battle to maintaining the supplies that you have so that you can face battle again at a later date. Momentary loss of self-worth, confidence, and determination are normal emotions that accompany personal loss. Learn that you must pass through this misery to rid your hunter spirit of its depression. Lament if necessary, but do not dwell too long on your bad moments, lest they rise to rule your emotions forever. One of the things I preach in this pulpit is that leadership is so similar to the success formula. What do you do when you have a major loss as an individual? You mourn for a little bit, but then you got to move on. You can't allow yourself to live in your rear view mirror. That's why the rear view mirror is this big and the windshield is this big. You've got to keep looking forward. That is a key element of an individual seeking to be successful, and as a leader must take that same mantra and get the group to follow it. Once again, leadership is taking the principles that make an individual successful and transferring them to the team. A wise chieftain avoids exposing his Huns to possible defeat if they are not yet prepared to deal effectively with disappointment. Don't send a boy to do a man's job. All right? If the reaction at failure will be that of a boy, not a man. It can cause irrevocable harm to their psyche and to your credibility for choosing them to perform that function. You gotta, take a look. People have enough apprehension performing a new task, something challenging as it is. You want to stretch your people. But Eli, I'm not going to ask you to reach and touch the top of the backboard, or you're not going to get to eat dinner, because you're never going to do that. All right? And emotionally, you're not able to handle that. The point is, you've got to make good judgments as to what you ask your people to do and be prepared to help them overcome failure. If the task at hand is going to be detrimental long term to their psyche, make a good judgment and don't ask them to perform that function. It's wise to consider all potentialities of battle and negotiations before entering into them. Rehearse them in your mind. Think of the consequences that may result from your actions. This will allow you to be better prepared for the worst outcome. You got to consider all scenarios, especially the unpleasant ones. Let me give you a basketball example. One of the things that happens when you press the opposing team is that you're putting two guys on the ball. Now, if that guy on the ball is an unbelievably great ball handler and gets the ball up the court and the other team starts making layups, you got to say to yourself, you know what? I need a plan B. You got to be prepared to handle that. Now, basketball, I'm just kind of making it simple, but the point is, when you look at a scenario, when you look at the action that you're about to take to overcome a certain challenge, you also have to look at the actions you may need to perform if it's not working out. In other words, you need to prepare your next starting line before you even go to the present starting line. You're a leader, right? That's what leaders do. Learn from defeat. If you fail to sharpen your leadership prowess after confronting unconquered obstacles, your experiences were for naught, and you, as well as your subordinates, will become nothing more than a helpless victim. Once again, leadership is so much like the success formula. You got to make sure you treat failure as feedback. Feedback that points you into a more positive direction. It's telling you, hey, that ain't working. You need a new starting line. You as the leader, I'd like to think, have achieved some level of success. You know this. You've got to take this mantra and get your people to follow it and embrace it. Okay, we did something. We made an effort. It didn't work. We're not giving up because our why and because is so strong. It's so important. We need to find a new starting line. That is our new challenge. We need to go and take a look at the failure as telling us, hey, that's not the way to do it. You need to find a new way to do it. That is critical to the success of any endeavor. Always remember that worthy causes meet with the most resistance, even internal withholding of support and loyalty. If victory is easily gained, you must reconsider the worthiness of your ambitions. Always remember that people tend to cling to the status quo. Why? Because they're comfortable in the status quo. They developed a system for the status quo. Most of the time, just because it is the status quo. Significant positive change is always met with resistance. Let me give you a present day example. All right? We're facing this pandemic. They're begging people, get the shot, get the vaccination. All right? Get the vaccination. But people are sticking to the status quo. No, I'm not going to do that. All right? And then when finally push will come to shove and they see people falling all around them, they're going to say, all right, let's do it. But it may be too late. Your organization will be the same way for the same reason. It's the nature of people. Leaders must understand the nature of people and their motivations. It's a simple truth that the greater your accomplishments, your victories, the greater opposition, torment, and discouragement your enemies will throw in your path. Expect it. Don't become a victim of it. Once again, the nature of people. People are jealous. They would just as soon put you down than rise themselves up. I don't understand the why because of that, but that's the nature of people. Enemies that are clutching at a losing position have nothing to lose. All right? They have nothing to lose, and they'll try any and all tactics to maintain their dominance. Expect tactics that reflect that posture. Let me give you an example of that. My mom had multiple sclerosis, and this was way back in the 1970s. And at that time, they knew some things about it, but there was a lot that they didn't know. We tried everything. We were facing a challenge that we knew nothing about, so we were willing to try virtually anything. We tried acupuncture. I mean, we tried whatever we could try. Why? Because we were facing a battle that we could see we were not going to win. Maybe we can find something out of the box that's going to help us. That's the posture that people take when facing a terminal disease. That's the posture that people take when facing a terminal circumstance. They're willing to try anything. They don't have anything to lose. They're going to lose anyway, so let's try it. Okay? Understand the nature of people. As a leader, it's critical to your success and your growth. Know that your most worthy efforts will be scorned by your peers, for it is they who suffer most when you excel. If your actions and ambitions threaten them not, you're simply striving towards the insignificant. We talked about this just a moment ago. When people feel their positions threatened, be it a change in their status or a change in their net worth, critical scorn is always a byproduct. Why? Because people are jealous. Take a look at social media. People are always put, oh, I did this, I did that, and then people look at it and they become jealous of it. And most of the time, it's just enhanced crap. You follow what I'm saying? That's people want to make other people jealous. You know what? Understand the nature of people. It's critical to your success. Reserve a portion of your emotional stamina for those times when to overcome obstacles requires even your last resources. Never expend all your energies in the charge when retreat and regrouping has even the slightest potential of happening. Don't give all of your emotional being if there's a chance that you're going to need to go into overdrive and retreat and regroup. Keep some emotional reserve for yourself because you're going to need it to reignite the fire under your troops. Remember, you as the leader are 5% of the troops. For the most part, of 95%ers, they think like 95%ers. They give up. You cannot do that. You have to inspire people to overcome and retreat and regroup, accept it as feedback, and yes, we're going to try again to reach the same goal, but don't be completely disheartened by a failure. Failure is temporary. It's only permanent if you let it be permanent. Alas, the campfire has dwindled on this gathering. Be it to your advantage that you learn from my agonies. Let these insights to my secrets be the fuel to ignite the fires of your determination to retreat and regroup your ambitions for success on another day. Because for as long as a Hun breathes, all is not lost. Once again, big shout out to Wes Roberts, PhD, author of Leadership Secrets of Attila the Hun. Next time we get together, more leadership secrets. And until that time, remember, don't ration the passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.